mouth. You listen to the man himself, the man that has brought about the revelation, the conversation, the big talk. Everywhere you go, this is what every Niger Deltan is discussing. So who are my guests? Let me first, to my right, welcome the Senior Programs Officer, Policy Alert, Mr. Mfon Gabriel. Good afternoon and welcome to Talking Point.
Thank you so much, Wike. Good afternoon, and good afternoon to our listeners.
My next guest has quite a very rich profile, so please follow me. My guest is someone with a very extensive experience and knowledge to discuss issues. He's an international attorney at law who practices in the United States. He, of course, has a background in broadcasting that makes him a professional broadcaster. So sometimes I get very cautious when I speak my English in front of him. In 2018, he formed the now deregistered Nigeria for Democracy political party, the NFD party. I did say deregistered. And he was the NFD presidential candidate for 2019 general elections. He is a good governance advocate who pushes for the dividends of democracy to trickle down to everyone. He is none other than Archibong Esquire, who tackles social issues all over the country. Barrister Archibong Esquire.
Thank you so very much for
As a fellow broadcaster, I greet you.
Thank you for having me. And Mfon Gabriel, thank you. Such a pleasure to be on the set with you as well.
Same here too. Thank you.
Let me take the conversation from the last word, where it starts from my fellow broadcaster. Listening to Nyesom Wike give that revelation, many have read several meanings to it. Some think he's trying to score cheap political points. Some people think he's an aggrieved governor who's trying to break the table, not shake the tables alone. And so probably he's going down and he wants to take people down with him. For you, as an attorney at law and as a Nigerian, what's your perception of Wike's revelation?
Well, I tend to step back and say to myself, what are the elements of good governance here that one can take away? In terms of transparency in governance, has there been transparency by all the governors of the Niger Delta states? Well, that can be challenged. Has there been usefulness in terms of using the funds that have been allegedly allocated to them? One can be challenged in that regard. In terms of participation of the people of the Niger Delta, in terms of determining how these funds are being used, or are those funds impacting their lives? One can take away whatever one desires to do in that regard. And is it really possible that the government has not paid the 13% derivation funds to the Niger Delta states since 2009? There are reports that there's been some payment, and the only outstanding payment that has been made has been from 2019 to 2021. Other reports did say that it's the revenue funds for 2021 that has been allocated. But whatever it is, he has thrown down the gauntlet, not to any other group of persons, but to the Niger Delta governors to say, come out and let the people do. Let there be some level of transparency, regardless of his intentions, whether they're altruistic or just genuine. But the gauntlet is there. The conversation has started. Come out and tell the people of your state what you have received, how much you have received, when you receive this money, and what you have done with this money. There's too much secrecy when it concerns the finances of the states. No matter the state you go to, there doesn't seem to be that level of transparency that we would like to see, so that we can point our fingers in terms of criticisms. Remember, our critics are our friends, for they point out our mistakes and bring about a better and improved version of ourselves in terms of personal development and also in terms of governance. If there is no opportunity to at least criticize constructively the government, regardless whether it is the federal level or sub-federal level, if there are no opportunities to criticize them with informed facts, then we end up having emotional criticism of the government. It's not helpful to say this government, excuse my language, is useless. This government is not effective. This government is not functioning. That's not an effective way to criticize the government. When you are criticizing the government, or a department of the government, you want to make it non-emotional, because people are there in the government, people are there in those departments, and they get to hear. You want to give them an opportunity to respond by action and not just to respond by words. So when you say you were given 87 billion naira you mentioned the state, and you say, well, what have you done with this 87 billion naira so far? We would like to see if that money has truly gotten into the coffers of the state government. We would like to see how it impacts the children in the state in terms of healthcare, in terms of education, how it has impacted the infrastructure of the state in terms of development of local government roads and also state roads, how it has actually impacted the state in several other areas. Now, if you can point your hand and say, this is what we have done, this is what we received as a government, we received 87 billion naira in the state, I won't mention any particular state so that it might not seem as if I'm targeting that state. But if that is done, people tend to become a little bit more relaxed in terms of believing and trusting their state. Remember, you can't lead if people don't follow you willingly, and people only follow you when they begin to trust you, and people only trust you when the elements of good governance is there for everyone to see. There is transparency, there is participation, there is engagement of the people, and there is an avenue for the people to complain, to begin to talk, like town hall meetings, and then there is also an avenue for the government. When I'm talking about the government, some people tend to say the government is the governor. No, the government is not the governor. The government is the executive branch of government. The government is the judiciary branch of government, and also the government is the legislative branch of government. So the criticism can go to any other branch. Why was this money not captured in the state budget? We can't just point our fingers to the executive branch only and leave the other branches outside of the equation here. The judiciary is always at the disadvantage because they really can't speak and they really don't have these funds coming directly to them. Hopefully things change so that we can have a greater sense of independence. But when you talk about these criticisms in execution and legislation, you are going to be pointing your fingers, not accusingly, but hopefully in positive criticism at the legislative branch and the executive branch.
Okay, well spoken. Let's bring in Policy Alert. Of course, Mr. Mfon Gabriel, if there's one thing I know about Policy Alert, they've helped a lot of Akwa Ibomites and by extension Niger Delta states track monies. You know, there's this saying, follow the money, and then you know where the money is going to. Policy Alert has been following the money. When you heard Nyesom Wike